Oh, it's Petro Predictions here. In order of what I think is most likely, number one, Mali. They always produce a lot of good players, whether that's the diasporas born overseas or those born in Mali. They're not really short of quality players, and they've made so many semi-finals in AFCONs. They're used to that tournament experience. They always fall that little bit short in World Cup qualifiers, though. And they kind of remind me of like the African version of Belgium and Croatia, where they're very competitive, producing numerous of good players, but they just can't quite win it. Mali actually could have made their World Cup debut in the last World Cup, as they've reached the playoffs and just about lost to Tunisia 1-0 over the two legs, and it was such an unfortunate own goal. It was a back pass, it was absolutely horrendous, and actually in those games Mali did really well. They dictated the pace of the games, they were looking really attacking as well, but unfortunately Tunisia were just defensively solid then. Frustratingly, Tunisia flopped again the Qatar World Cup, but hey, that's for another time to discuss about. In the current Mali squad, you've got some really good players like Bissouma, Haidara, Ibrahima Kone, Djenepo, El Bilal Toure, who's doing really well for himself in Almeria right now. So you've got really good players coming up, and the good thing about these group of players is the oldest out of the ones I named in the next World Cup in 2026 will be Bissouma, and he'll only be 29. So actually Mali's got a good age squad right now that can build that experience and preparation to qualify for that next World Cup. Number two, Burkina Faso. They do have a few good players at the moment like Dango Ouattara and Bertrand Traore, who's still very good for the national team at the moment, but it's more about them as a unit and as a team, and they've done pretty well in AFCONs, and they've had some near misses in World Cup qualifiers too. Burkina Faso almost won their first ever major trophy in the 2013 AFCON, where they just about lost out in the final to Nigeria, and later that year they actually made it to the 2014 World Cup playoffs, where they just about lost to Algeria on that away goal rule, and there was actually some controversy in the second leg whether Mugera for Algeria was legible to play, and there was also like those laser beams flashing in the Burkina Faso goalkeeper. Even after a heartbreaking, agonising 2013, Burkina Faso seemed to pick themselves up quite well, and since then they've made two AFCON semi-finals in 2017 and 2022, and they almost made the 2022 World Cup playoffs in Africa, as they just about lost out to that playoff spot, and well, funnily enough, to Algeria. So clearly hard done by Algeria again. I think this is a bit of a stretch, but for number three, I'm going to go with Zambia. They're really inconsistent actually as a team, but they do produce really good players now and again. Like right now, you've got Patterson Daka and Fashion Sakala, and in the past, they've also produced really good players. And they were AFCON winners in 2012, bearing in mind. But when it comes to qualifiers for the World Cup, they seem pretty inconsistent. But they still seem quite like a solid team in Africa. Which three African nations do you think are most likely to make their debut in the next World Cup in 2026? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.